What's up, everybody? It's me. It's PLD.
And I'm Richard-Erik Jarvi.
Yeah, very good. And we're in class action.
Classiest movie show in the interwebs.
What did you say, Matty?
I said, what everybody going on? We're in class action.
Hey, Jarvi. Did you understand a single word he said?
No, Tommy.
What's up?
From what? Is it Germans?
Wow, what's up? What a great episode this is going to be. I love both these movies. I think Jarvi, Matty suggested this one, I believe, correct?
I did.
That's all Matty.
Matty one.
Matty.
It's funny. I talked about this a lot with Jarvi recently. I did say at one point that I was wanting to kind of change it up, maybe to Goodfellas versus State of Grace, as the other 1990 gangster movie that came out at the same time that Goodfellas kind of overshadowed. And if you ever seen State of Grace, go see State of Grace. It's actually a really good one. But after watching Snatch, I'm glad we got to do it because I forgot how much I loved Snatch until I saw it. And well, that just really sounded weird. But I forgot how much I loved the movie Snatch until I saw it. And it's really good. It's really great. But I am not here alone, so we're going to find out what we're going to say. Richard, how about you? What's going on with your life, my friend?
I'm doing pretty good. Doing nothing much, really. Just working, grinding, doing the show. Same old shit.
There you go.
There was something I wanted to say. Now it completely flew out of my mind. Oh, it'll come back. Oh, the fact that you wanted to do straight State of Grace. If anyone wants to know why PLD wants to do State of Grace, just look up the cast list and you will understand.
That's not the only reason, actually, because it's actually
sure, of course.
It's a very stacked. It's a very stacked cast. Come on, you even said it. That's a stacked cast. It's a pretty stacked cast.
It is a pretty stacked cast.
A great
It
Gary
is
Oldman cast.
Pretty stacked
cast.
Stacked.
And before you get to you, Matty, yes, I do love that. That's kind of where I stole it from a little bit. That and maybe RVD as well. I appropriated a little bit enough. I either go with that, or as Christian once told me, I should do the "It's a me, it's a PLD." I could try that every once in a while, but for now,
could have done that. It could have been a Goodfellas reference.
That's right. I could do that as well.
Oh, this sounds like a pretty good Joe Pesci.
Wait. So PLD's part Italian. Are you like fully Italian? And Matty is English. So this is a good matchup.
What's going on there? I always say,
and I am from a traveling family. So
Jess, you're very right on so many levels.
Yeah,
we were just quoting this one actually right before the show begins. Jess.
Is pikey like considered a bad word now?
It's considered a slur. But
okay, can't
say sorry
it.
if
I say it
because it's said in the movies.
I'm fine with it. I personally don't care, but there are some that don't like it. But I don't. You can say
well,
it.
I think
it's in the movie. Who cares?
We can say that in this context because it is in the movie. It's said a bunch of times in the movie, so I think we got to go with it for now. But let's get the show underway.
I'm not going to feed you to the pigs, though.
Oh.
What is this show all about? Well, myself, Richard, and Matty, we take up two very different or similar items. That could be movies, it could be franchises, it could be actors, it could be directors, it could be composers, which we haven't done yet, but we will someday. We can do anything we really want to do. We put them up against each other in a steel cage battle to the death. And how do we determine who wins? Well, we put them to the trial with 5 or 6 or 7 or whatever.
Depending on how many PLD wants to throw in to get his movie to win.
I resemble that remark. Custom-made categories to see which one does come out on top, and that's how this thing rolls. This is a very tough one to be sure, because once again. It's kind of like last week. It's very similar movies in some way, but also worlds different in other ways. If I had to describe these two movies, Goodfellas is the classic rock station, whereas Snatch is more like the punk new wave station. But it's still music and it's still rock and roll kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's a very kind of a different style, but I love both of them for different reasons. So this was a very tough battle for me.
It shows like how two classes of people can be of the same ilk, but completely different traditions and how things are done.
That's a good
But
call.
at the end of the day, they're cut from the same cloth, but at the same time, completely different.
That's a great call.
I think there's a 10-year difference between these movies, right? Like approximately something like that. I think Snatch came out in 2000, right?
Yes.
Snatch came out, yes, in 2000. Well, in the UK in 2000, in the US in 2001, in January of 2001. So, but you guys are from like over the pond, so you guys
because Guy Ritchie did Lock, Stock, and then he went straight into Snatch.
But that is the spiritual sequel to Lock, Stock, pretty much.
Snatch is just Lock, Stock with a better budget.
Is that what it is?
I think it is anyway.
There's even the same actors in it.
Yeah, well,
Jason Statham's pretty much playing the same character.
I mean, Guy Ritchie has his favorites as well, especially during this time frame. So it makes sense that's the way it's going to be.
Oh boy, did he ever!
And I got to watch Goodfellas on the big screen last week, so that was a big thing for me. First time ever. So,
tell me how that went. Cause I don't know if I ever did. I think I did see it on the big screen.
It was awesome.
I've never seen it on the big screen.
I remember it more from not being on the big screen because I saw it mostly in college when I was really hammered at like 3 a.m. But this seems like it's a very epic experience. I mean, Scorsese on the big screen with the great set of actors there. That sounds like it'd be a lot of fun.
It was, and it's a weird thing watching these classic movies in the cinema because they're not visually as cinematic as you hope them to be. Like the sound is higher, but the sound is not that high quality, and the picture is kind of like it's narrowed down on the sides, so it's not like you get this wide screen experience. It's still on the big screen, but the big thing with these classical movies is that you get to watch them with a big group of people.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
you hear these people like just react to that movie because you usually watch those at home or with a small group.
Right.
That way, you sort of get this experience that you don't know what people will be laughing at with these older movies.
I gotta say, it's kind of funny. I was never one to go watch like old movies on the big screen again. Like I was like, if I'm gonna go to a movie, I want to see something new. I never did until really this year. Quite honestly, the first. I mean, I think I went to see Star Wars because it's fucking Star Wars. I saw that.
I've never seen like the old Star Wars on the big screen.
That's something worth doing. Absolutely.
Oh, you got to do that.
But this year,
like they're not showing it here. I'm just waiting.
I think they will do it eventually. I think Disney would be stupid not to. It makes sense to do releases. I mean, the releases are big anywhere. But I mean, I finally got to start doing it this year. I got to see E.T. in the big screen. I got to see Jaws in the big screen. And it was really much different experience than I expected it to be. I was like, I know this movie, but seeing it for the first time there, or as E.T. first time in a long time on the big screen, was definitely like, I mean, I don't want to say it's a religious experience or they oversell it, but it's definitely a very powerful kind of thing. It was wonderful. So,
have you seen any of the Indiana Jones movies on the big screen?
I saw that.
The first two.
That was fucking epic when I saw
the last 3 in theaters.
Nice.
Of course, Temple of Doom. I was actually 8 years old or whatever, but I said this on a podcast yesterday with PJ. I vividly remember about 5 movies that I saw between the years of like 77 and like say 85, 86. And it was Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom, Ghostbusters, and E.T. Now you vaguely kind of remember Goonies if you want to go on the flip side of that. I went to movies a lot, but those are the ones that really stuck in my mind. I can remember where I was. I can remember like things I said to my mom or my grandmother in case of E.T. or whatever. It's powerful stuff in the movies at that age.
What was the first one though?
First one I ever saw was Empire Strikes Back.
Empire. Right.
That's what I saw. My family took it to it. I had no idea what the fuck it was. I was fucking frightened of Yoda. I was scared to death of Yoda. Vader, nothing. That's right. Tell the story.
What's you, Matty? What's yours, Matty?
I think the first movie I ever saw in the cinema might have been Toy Story.
Oh, that's a good one to say for the first time.
Because a lot of like my film experience was like sitting at home with my granddad watching it on VHS tapes. Like we'd watch the old Sinbad movies and like we watched 12 Angry Men. And I remember the very first film I ever saw was Dirty Dancing because my sister fucking made me sit and watch it with her. Dirty Dancing in Greece, and then she would make me jump up on the table and do the Grease lightning dance in front of all of her friends. And it was the most embarrassing shit of my life. But now I get paid to do shit like that on stage. So hey,
you work it, and actually can get you somewhere. It gets you to all the women, I'm sure, at this point. Very quiet. You're very quiet.
I plead the fifth.
Gentleman never kisses and tells. I like Richard. I've never seen the original or prequel Star Wars trilogy in the theater.
Well, prequels I saw when they were coming out. I do remember that one.
That's my kid's first movie in the theater was Revenge. Actually, was it first one like mine was Revenge of the Sith? And I think I took it to see Attack of the Clones as well. Phantom Menace. They thought In the Belly. Kim went there pregnant, so that counts, right?
Sure.
I'm gonna take it. Oh man, no. Well, let's get going. Let's move on here. Let's say our first game of the week. Of course, we always play the game. Let's see if Jarvi prepared himself this week. I don't know if he did or not. I kind of hope he did.
I did, and that's why it freaking sucks this week.
I think Jarvi. The new rule is you can't prepare.
Yeah,
you can't even think about it. You're just not allowed to play there because you come up.
Jarvi currently holds the best of this game.
I can't even remember what it was last week.
It was last week. It was the Nice Guys. Ed Harris sneaking in Russell Crowe and the girl.
Fucking Russell Crowe.
Fuck your father.
I was fucking dying. I was dying.
I was dying as well. We're going to start with Snatch. I feel like I want to start with Snatch.
Do you want to explain the game before we begin?
Did I not finish? No, I didn't. I got interrupted. I'm sorry. What would Ed Harris play? Of course, Ed Harris, the greatest character actor of all time, greatest supporting actor of all time. We know that anytime he's in a movie, it makes the movie better. I don't care what it is. You can put him in any shit movie, also it becomes watchable. You put him in a good movie, it becomes great. You put him in a great movie, you got a best of movie right there.
And in this one, we're putting him in two
phenomenal
iconic classics.
So it's going to be even better. So in this, we're going to put him in there. You can either recast Ed Harris as somebody, or if you don't want to, you really can't. You just insert him in as a new character, like Jarvi did last week, and you see how, and you explain how that would work in relation to the film. This is a fun game we play. We're going to start with Snatch this week, and I'm going to see Richard, since you did prepare this week, I'm going to let you start it off.
All right, so I think you said it yourself. You said it that Ed Harris is one of the greatest character actors. He's one of the greatest supporting actors. Mm-hmm. I want to see him as the number one lead. Ooh. Okay, so I switch it up. I'm sorry. I'm talking about Goodfellas. I'm sorry. I just completely... Okay, so I'll go with Goodfellas first.
Go with Goodfellas. It's fine. Go Goodfellas.
I'll go with... so I recast him as Ray Liotta in Goodfellas because I just want to see him carry a movie from start to finish. I want to see him like that. We're talking like 90s Ed Harris, so he will be younger. Well, he has to be way more younger because he's playing pretty much 20-year-old at some point. He can do it. Put a wig on him, dye it black, do some Italian.
Put Murray's wig on him.
He's fine. He's fine. Plus, he's fine. Henry Hill's part Irish anyway, so it works for Ed Harris. It doesn't have to be that Italian. That's good. I like it.
Right? Is he like part Irish?
Yeah, that's why he can never be an actor. He can't be a made man.
Joe Pesci.
No, I know that, but he's Ed Harris part Irish.
Oh, Ed Harris. Yeah, he played Irish, got mobster in A State of Grace. So it works. His name is Frankie Flannery. I'm going to push this movie again. Ed Harris and Gary Oldman as brothers. Can you go wrong there? Come on. All right, anyway.
All right, I got to watch that movie. Christo, you look it up if this movie is any decent at all. We'll see if we watch it.
All right, it's good. Anyway, I'm sorry. But
a boring pick for me, Goodfellas, as the Ray Liotta character. But there's something exciting about watching him just carry a movie from start to finish, and a Scorsese movie. I'm like he was a lead in The Abyss, but there's not enough of him as a lead. So
I fully agree. I love what you're doing. I love The Abyss so much. We're gonna have to do that sometime on here, some way. I fear probably The Abyss versus Avatar would actually make a lot of sense.
Sorry, we should never. This is making me angry already. We will never have PJ on when we're talking about a James Cameron movie because I will fucking shit bricks all over the show if he's on. Love you, PJ. Just your thoughts on James Cameron.
I feel for that episode, I should probably take a step back and allow PJ to take.
I think that should be a PJ and Jarvi alone episode. Let them do a solo episode together.
I think we should be there to keep the peace. Somewhat.
Yeah, there you go. We'll just be quiet. We'll mute ourselves.
Yeah. When it gets too far, then we step in.
All right, so Jarvi's picking Ed Harris for Henry Hill. I'm going to go through. I'll do my Goodfellas as well. Real quick.
The door.
Always good to see you in the chat.
Hello there.
Much love to you. Hello there. Now, if I was going to go by our typical standing, I'd have to cast him as Stax Edwards, Samuel L. Jackson's part, when he whitewash everything. But I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to whitewash this week. Instead, I'm going to do something similar to Jarvi, actually, in a way. I wanted to see Ed Harris as Robert De Niro's part, as Jimmy Conway. So it made sense. I love seeing like how respected he is and everything else. You see like Jimmy Conway down the line, and then as the movie goes on, he gets a little more unhinged and a little more unhinged and a little more unhinged. Well, Henry Hill gets unhinged in a different way. I like to see Ed Harris playing that kind of like getting psycho to the point of the end where he's just killing everybody because that's what has to happen. He's in control at first. Every time he goes a little bit further, gets a little more crazy. I want to see the crazy Ed Harris eyes in this role. I almost think Ed Harris would have played a little bit more crazy, and that's why I want to see it.
What was the movie where it was like in a interrogation room, like
as a prisoner?
Yeah, something like you previously always showed that picture. But...
Just Cause, yes, it's a great. Do I have that picture on this thing? There it is.
I had to say it.
That's the one.
Just Cause.
Had to say it.
If you guys haven't seen that movie,
he has that picture.
If you haven't seen Just Cause, you guys should see Just Cause.
I feel
for
like
Ed alone. That's specifically for Ed alone. But
I feel like Paul has at least 5 screenshots from every Ed Harris movie ready to pull up at all times.
Don't give away my secrets.
On his phone, on his laptop, in the StreamYard, like
on my ceiling. I mean,
oh.
All right, Matty, it is your turn.
Mine's a very quick role, I guess, but it's a absolutely crucial role. I want to play in Billy Bats.
Oh,
I want to hear Ed Harris tell Joe Pesci to go get his fucking shine box. Now go get your fucking shine box.
The fucking shine box. Oh, I like it. I like it a lot. Interesting. None of us went with Joe Pesci's character, which I actually could see.
You can't replace Joe.
I couldn't.
No.
I get it. But wouldn't you want to see him just once in the role, just to see how he would have done it?
Hey, what's funny about it?
What's funny about it? What's fucking funny about me? Come on, all right? And you see him beating the shit out of Billy Bats after he gets told to get a shine box. Come on, you look at his eyes. How funny
would it be to watch Joe Pesci beat the shit out of Ed Harris?
That's why I wouldn't believe believable. That's the only
exactly.
Christo going with Morris. That's it with the hairpiece, right? The guy who always wears my money.
Yeah,
that's
that's very funny. That'd be actually funny too. He's got a hairpiece. That'd be actually perfect. You'd have to put the hairpiece on at that point, wouldn't it? And
he was running
the long hair Ed Harris pick in 3.
Long hair. There you go. There you go. Awesome. All right. So we got him in Goodfellas. What do we do about Snatch, gentlemen? Jarvi, I'll let you start this one as well, since we're going on corner here.
So my boring pick for Snatch is, even though he's my favorite part of the movie, I gotta see Ed Harris as Vinnie Jones. He's just. I know it's like very clear cut for him, but Bullet Tooth Tony, played by Ed Harris. Man, there's something brewing.
I kind of want to hear Ed Harris in a cop.
0.50. Like written on the side of mine.
No, just the bit where he's sitting down in the office with Abby and everyone. And he's just like, "Kiss the blow, Susan."
Bonjour.
Bonjour. We'll get to that. We'll get there.
No, that's actually a good piece. I actually considered that one myself. I'm actually surprised you did go with Vinnie Jones, replacing Vinnie Jones. I know how much you like him in the movie, so that's good for you.
Especially being a football fan, Jarvi. You're replacing Vinnie Jones. You want that man out of work?
He can play something else. Ed'll give him something else. In this game, what we can do is we can switch roles. We put Vinnie Jones and something else with Ed Harris.
Okay.
I'll give him just to make sure he gets some money. All right, I got one for Snatch. Not exactly exciting one, but I couldn't stop thinking about Expenditure. When I went into the movie, I was thinking the same thing as Jarvi. I think that makes most sense. But after watching it, I kind of want to replace Dennis Farina as Avi.
I figured that to me was the easy choice, sort of, because he's American. He's American, an American dude.
But he comes, I can see, because he played a little differently than
God send the beaches. Who the fuck wants to go there?
London? What the fuck? Do you have anything to declare? Don't go to fucking London.
Yeah, anything to declare. What's the line he says? Like, bad teeth, Big Ben, fucking something.
Big bad fucking. I forget what it is, but I know what you mean. That's a funny one too. So good, so good. Yeah, that'd be great, man. That'd be great. I think I see him like talking about opening up the dog. He could totally do that as well.
Oh
Like,
no. It's not like it's a bag of fucking beans. No, can of fucking beans.
Can of fucking beans. Just there it is. Fish, chips, cup of tea, bad food, worse weather, Mary
Boris
fucking
the
Poppins,
Blade.
London. There you go.
None of us said Boris the Blade for it.
Well, I was actually-
Matty hasn't said his yet.
Because I was literally about to say, Uzbekistanians, I've been dealing with those dirty Russian dogs. They call him Boris the Blade. Why do they call him Boris the... what is it? Boris the Bullet... No, what do they fucking call him?
He's
Boris the Bullet Dodger.
Bullet Dodger.
Right.
Why do they call him Bullet Dodger? Because he dodges bullets, Abby. I was actually going to have Ed Harris as Boris the Blade, as Boris the Bullet Dodger.
That is something I actually did
I
consider
think that's
too.
my favorite one.
Just Ed Harris come walking out with the fucking machine gun covered in blood.
And when he's all like angry, just pushes everyone aside, just doesn't give a fuck who's in his way. Like he's so pissed off.
So good. That's so good. All I have to say is all of our picks are good, and I think they would all work more than any other week. I think every one of our picks would actually work, and it'd be interesting to see how they would work.
Has Ed Harris done a Russian accent? He has, right?
Yes, he was in Phantom. Yeah.
Yes, and the picture 3.
I do not have Phantom, unfortunately. I wish I did. You're challenging me. I'll have to get the Phantom picture from him now.
No, we're good. Let's continue.
Okay.
So who do you think wins this week for Ed Harris casting?
Ooh.
I think I like Boris the Blade. I think I like Matty's.
You're gonna go Boris the Blade? You think that's what you're gonna do? Okay, I'm good for that. I could sell that. I'm good with that. What do you think, Matty? I mean, you have a vote too. You can vote for yourself if you want to.
I'm going to vote for Jarvi's pick because I think replacing Ray Liotta in Goodfellas is a fucking ballsy thing to do.
That's
right.
True.
I think that takes some stones to do, and I respect it.
We definitely respect stones in in PLD projects for sure.
Give me stones.
Give me
That's
stones.
a different movie.
Okay, there's that Harrison Phantom, by the way. Okay, there we go. And
Jesus Christ.
William Fichtner, David.
Was that
Spelling.
Fichtner back there?
Yeah, yes, it was.
Is it pronounced Fichtner or
Fichtner? F-I-C. It's Fichtner, I believe. I've never actually heard it pronounced, but the way it's spelled, the end is definitely later on, so it's got to be Fichtner.
I'm gonna add it to the list of some of the most difficult things to say in the English language. Like I'm sorry, I was wrong. Worcestershire.
Are you doing your Brad Pitt? No, are you doing your Brad Pitt?
Say with me.
What?
Stir.
Share.
So, Worcestershire sauce.
Worcestershire sauce. There you go. You got it, my friend. You got it. Well, all right, guys. It's time to move on to the meat and potatoes of the show. Of course, we want to throw a Streamlabs in there, streamlabs.com, PLD projects. But we are going to get into our trial, as it were. We got 5 categories here. We got, in order, better mob bosses. That's Paul Cicero versus Bricktop. We got better cast. We got better story, better setting, and then finally, the better fist bumps. Yes, we stole that. We legitimately just took that from Action Industries, Action Movie Anatomy, and
I mean, if it's a winning thing, I mean, you got to use it.
I am technically the third leg of the action guys, so I feel like I can get away with it. I feel like I'm allowed to. So they're not going to sue me.
I just realized that I used to work for Action Industries as well.
Yes, you did.
It was way back when it was like me and Dollface. It was you.
Mm-hmm.
It was
a bunch of
people. There's a big crew there. Yeah,
there was like 12 of us who actually started Action Industries. We were the first 2, and then kind of moved out. They moved out from there at that point. I got a couple people, but yeah, Dollface was there. Miss Dollface, rest in peace. Bunch of people, but kind of whittled away. Brandon Hanna technically was part of it as well at that point.
Right? Yeah, he was.
And it's whittled away, and I'm the only one left.
And you're stuck there. You're still there.
So. Good day, Sean. Good to see you. All right.
Sean.
Well, let's move on. We're gonna go with better mob bosses.
More
Mob
bosses.
bosses. And Matty wanted to start this one off. I think this is the whole reason he actually wanted to do this this topic.
I think
it
this
feels
is
like.
the only reason he wants
Like,
this episode done.
legitimately, like I can see like a semi on him when he started talking about it. So why don't you give it a go and let us know who is the better mob boss? Is it Bricktop or is it Paul Cicero?
Listen, Paulie is a great boss. Great boss. He doesn't really intimidate me. He doesn't really strike fear in my heart like Bricktop does when you know you just hear the fucking words. Do you know what nemesis means? A righteous infliction of retribution manifested by an appropriate agent. In this case, by an honorable cunt. Me. And the fucking just deadpan stare while he's doing it. Just shit like, you're on thin fucking ice, my pedigree chums. And I shall be under it when it breaks. Like, I quote that so fucking much. He's just... Even when he fucking opens his mouth and you just see all the fucking crooked, horrible teeth. Like, Alan Ford is fucking brilliant as Bricktop. He's fucking terrifying. And then he starts, like, talking about, like, be careful of any man that has a pig farm. You think about it and you're like, oh, fuck. Like, yeah.
Is it true? Like, can pigs actually chew through a person in 7 or 8 minutes?
Oh, yeah.
Through bone like butter.
Through bone like butter. Hence the phrase, as greedy as a
pig. Yeah, the way he says it, like, bobs his head.
It's just the fear that Alan Ford fucking strikes in me. That I'm just like, yep, I would not want to fucking owe you money. I would not want to ask you for a favor. Keep him the fuck away from me.
Huh. Okay, I see. I got one thing to say. Paulie may have moved slow, but it's only because Paulie doesn't have to move for anybody. Paulie doesn't have to flap his gums. Paulie doesn't have to show any bad teeth. He just fucking sits there and people do what they're fucking told because they know better. Paulie Cicero is easily the better mob boss for me. I love Bricktop. Don't get me wrong. But Bricktop is all about the wag, 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 wag. And Paulie's about I'm just going to get your shit done and you will respect me. And that's all there is to it. Paulie! It's got to be Paulie.
That is, like, you both said, like, one from each of my reasonings. I think Bricktop is absolutely horrifying, like disgustingly dangerous and creepy. But what was his name? Paul. Was it Paul Cicero? No,
Paul Cicero,
he plays Paul Cicero.
Paul Sorvino was the actor, yes.
He's more like, he's definitely a mob boss that everyone works with. Like, he's a team player. When you think about Bricktop, he's just the intimidating factor who just comes in like a crashing wave. So it's a very different dynamic with both these.
Although
these
there's a little bit less of it there, more you see also. Let's gonna throw another Henry Hill quote at you. Trouble with the bill, he can go to Paulie. Trouble with the cops, deliveries. Tommy, he can call Paulie. But now the guy's got to come up with Paulie's money every week, no matter what. Business bad? Fuck you, pay me. Oh, you had a fire? Fuck you, pay me. Place got hit by lightning? Huh? Fuck you, pay me.
All right, Matty, I think you got to pull off a few quotes here now because PLD is out quoting you.
In the quiet words of the Virgin Mary, come again.
So anyway, yeah, I didn't give my reasoning yet, but I think Alan Ford, with playing Bricktop, he has completely, like, there is no other role that I know him from either. So there's that. But whenever I look at a picture of Alan Ford, I am instantly unnerved. But PLD said a good thing. He's all bark, but he doesn't really like do anything. He's very menacing. He's very threatening. So I remember watching the movie like way back when it came out. I was like, oh my God, I'm afraid of this mob boss completely. Now watching it yesterday, I was like, okay, he's very threatening. He doesn't really do much. He's like,
goes to the end.
Well, he gets killed in the end.
Yeah, but imagine if the gypsies hadn't been in there.
Like, all right, having said that, there is no way I'm giving this to Paul Cicero. This is all the way Bricktop. I think I know you can pick like who is the better team player as a mob boss. You could go with Paul Cicero. I think Bricktop has way more flair. He's way more memorable. I had to look up who the mob boss in Goodfellas was. I had to really look up his scenes. I remember pretty much every Bricktop scene. So he steals the show. I'm going with Snatch on this one.
Wow.
Paulie's based off of a real guy, isn't he?
Yes, he is. He's a real guy and played by an Academy Award winner. Just want to also throw that out there. Fine. I get it.
No, I get your pick as well.
He's definitely. I mean, Bricktop.
I feel like this is going to be me versus Paul, with Jarvi as the tiebreaker.
It could be. It could be. I mean, I get it. No, I think the reason I'll give you your props. I will say I think that Bricktop will win if he does win. It's more because he's flashier. He's definitely a flashier guy. Absolutely. But at the end, if I had two mobs, one run by Bricktop, one run by Paul, I'm betting Paul gets the job done. That's what I'm getting.
Oh, pull your tongue out my ass, Gary.
Woo! Hey, Suge Knight knows. Suge Knight knows.
Suge.
Wait a minute.
Well, so far we're only part of the way through, so we're going to move on to number 2. The second category we have to deal with is we're going to go with better cast. Better cast, Goodfellas and Snatch. And this one, Jarvi wants to start off. Let's hear what you have to say about this one. You can't listen to both, and then come out the end. No.
This is definitely a tough one for me. But again, like you said, like you said at the beginning of the episode, they're both great in very different ways. Like the Goodfellas actors, and like even though you can call Goodfellas kind of, there are some moments now that you laugh at that you probably didn't laugh at when the movie came out, but the characters, they feel real. Like they feel those authentic Italian, like mid-level guys. I mean, Ray Liotta, Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, who is freaking on fire, and Lorraine Bracco. I hope I'm pronouncing that correct. Bracco. She is absolutely brilliant. They're very they're like your Academy Award type of performances in there. Now, Snatch is a completely different spectrum. Like they are way more out there. They are like, they've got flair. The characters are in all the ways ridiculous in the best possible ways. Even the editing sort of adds to those characters in a lot of ways. So again, this is really tough to differentiate because they're so different, but I have to go in the same direction that which cast is more memorable for me. And I gotta go with Snatch again. There's Brad Pitt. I'd say Jason Statham, not that memorable for me, but Alan Ford, the guy who plays Ali, I can't remember his name. Vinnie Jones. I mean, there's so, even like the actors who play Saul, Vincent, and Tyrone. I mean, these guys are a freaking comedic trio that I never knew I needed, and I can't stop freaking quoting them now. That is a shotgun, Saul.
Okay, all right.
It's tough to sort of throw aside De Niro and Pesci and Liotta on this one, but I don't know. Snatch just.
All right, let's hear it, Matty. Let's hear what you said. Make it just two for Snatch at this point.
I feel like you should go. I feel like you should go.
I feel like you should go. I feel
like you should go.
No, you're definitely going.
Okay. Okay. Snatch features a lot of actors that a lot of people probably have never heard of before, especially over your side of the pond, Paul. But you do have Brad Pitt, who is actually the least convincing part in this to me, solely because I grew up around travelers, and he does not play a very good traveler.
Oh,
other than he's a good bare knuckle boxer. But
looks great shirtless.
You got those fucking fantastic shirtless. You got Jason Statham.
Can I pause for a minute? It's always okay. We need a drinking game.
It's always the shirtless season, Jarvi.
We need a drinking game every time Jarvi mentions a shirtless guy or a long flowing haired guy.
Troy, man. Achilles.
All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Matty. Continue.
I'm sorry, Matty. You were...
No. I agree with you. Actually, it took me out of there for a moment. I was actually thinking about that scene. Ooh. All right, back to it. You have Brad Pitt, Jason Statham, like before he was like action star Jason Statham. Benicio del Toro, who a lot of this I feel he was one of the best parts of the movie. I feel like he doesn't really get a lot of credit for his role in the movie. You're Stephen Graham. But then there's the legends of British cinema that people over your side of the pom-pom, other than you, who you know movies, you know TV shows. You're a Doctor Who fan, so you are aware of British TV.
Mm-hmm.
You have Alan Ford, Lenny James, who I've often said is the UK's answer to Don Cheadle.
Look at that. That's good.
You have Vinnie fucking Jones, who's a personal hero of mine, just because of how much of a fucking nutcase he is. You have the guy who plays Dr. Nikovich in MI2. I'm not going to even try to pronounce his name.
Oh, that's Boris the Blade, right?
Boris the Blade?
Yeah,
okay,
Boris
so
Blade.
yeah.
Same guy that plays the Doctor in Mission Impossible 2.
Yes, that's true.
And then you have the absolute legend of British small screen and big screen. Rest in peace to Mike Reed. That man has been in my life on small screen and big screen since I can fucking remember. Since I was in nappies. That man is an absolute legend over here. But you cannot fucking argue with Bobby D, Ray Liotta, Joe Pesci, Paul Sorvino. I'm sorry. I love Snatch. That's a fucking unbeatable cast. That I as much as I want to, and I really fucking want to. Bobby D on his own, Joe Pesci on his own, tips the scales.
Yes.
Put them together.
Hallelujah.
And it's like it doesn't.
Hallelujah. I will say it again. Can I get an amen? You got Bobby D, you got Ray Liotta, you got Joe Pesci, Lorraine Bracco, you got the Sopranos, the early Sopranos right there, pretty much. Paul Sorvino. You got in minor roles Samuel L. Jackson, Michael Imperioli, Kevin Corrigan, who is a very underrated actor. You got this, as much as Snatch has those kind of actors you're talking about, Goodfellas has that kind of U.S. Version of them. Debbie Mazar's in there. I got some. Henry Youngman is himself, of course. That's you get the comedian, famous American old comedian. You got Mike Starr, who's a great character. I mean, you see him in Dumb and Dumber. You know who he is. All these people you kind of like, oh yeah, that guy. Oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah, he's the guy who gets ulcers and like
yes.
dies.
And I got to lawyer it again.
Shut up.
We're not talking about characters here.
No, it's cast.
We're talking about the cast. We're talking about the actors. If we were talking about the characters, of course I'm going to say Snatch.
Snatch has the more memorable characters because Snatch is not a real story, too. That's part of the thing.
For sure.
You would think.
It's based partially. Yeah, Goodfellas is more.
You would think.
Goodfellas is more specifically a more real, real characters. I mean,
there are aspects to Snatch which are real.
Yeah, but they're definitely amped up cartoonish characters. Absolutely.
Goodfellas is.
More specifically,
I've got a book on the Cosa Nostra right beside me, and there's probably like a whole book of like the whole chapter of characters that you could pull out of Goodfellas.
Oh, yeah. Vincent Gallo, young Vincent Gallo's in there, and if you're a horror fan like me, Tobin Bell, the lead Jigsaw himself, is actually in this movie. That's a very
just keep watching. Keep watching.
So, all right.
We may actually fight after this.
Right. So, therefore, I'm going to go. Obviously, I'm going Goodfellas here as well. So, there we are. We are in an interesting situation. All right. I can't wait to see this continue. It's getting very exciting here. The next one would be Better Story. And that's for me to start. And it's Goodfellas again versus Snatch. Again, comes down to me. The truth of Goodfellas makes for it to be more compelling to me. Snatch, I feel like the Snatch heist is a great story and it's a lot of fun. And the twist is great and everything else at the end. It's a really well-crafted movie. No doubt it's a crafted story. But I feel like at the end of the day, I've kind of seen well-crafted stories like that before. I mean, it's a good, solid story. But for whatever reason, because it's very realistic and the characters are so real, and the storyline just feels like it actually happened more. I'm more compelled to watch the Goodfellas story unfold. It's Snatch is the background. I'm gonna snort up some coke and have some booze and have a good time. Goodfellas is the story I want to watch see unfold. That's what
Man, they do so much coke in Goodfellas.
That's true.
I would
That's
say
true.
it's the other way around.
That could be. But Snatch feels more like the Coke movie in terms of like the energy level of that. Or Goodfellas is much more of a slow.
We're talking Coca-Cola, people.
Yes, cool, of course. What do you think I meant? All right, so I'm going to go with Goodfellas here as well for that same reason. The reel does put me in where I want to go. Should we go with you, Matty, or should we go with Jarvi? Let's go with Matty.
Let's go, Jarvi.
Let's go, Matty. Go, Matty. I want to go last now.
All right, well, let Jarvi be the tiebreaker. Because go ahead, Matt. I know you're going to say Snatch.
I see your point, Paul.
Mm.
I do. It's a lot of. It's very cohesive, and it is true. But if I wanted that, I could go watch The Godfather. I could go watch Scarface. I could go watch Casino. I could go watch any number of mobster movies, and it'll give me similar thing. I could go watch. Not that I would. I could go watch The Irishman. Not that I would. I've done that. I've done that twice now, and that took up too much of my life. Not doing that again unless it's for this show. Great movie. I just can't sit through for that long again. Like my attention span cannot take it. I need that wackiness. I need that zaniness to keep my brain engaged and be like, oh, what the fuck is going on? And then you've got the classic Guy Ritchie twist at the end, where it's just kind of like you think that guy's getting away with it. Oh no, that guy's getting away with it. And then you see at the end they're driving away with the dog. They don't know that the stones are inside the dog, but the others do. Tyrone and that lot do. We know they do. But and there's aspects to the story, like the bare knuckle boxing, which I'm not sure I'm proud of it, but done it. They're growing up in the pikey estate, being around people like that. That was my fucking childhood. So there is that bit of, I recognize this, but it's just the wacky zaniness that like just keeps my brain engaged. Goodfellas, I'm like, oh, this is a nice story. Yeah, this is very well told. Yeah, this is good. Yeah, this is good. Snatch, I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
I get that. I do actually get what you're saying, and I do appreciate your talk. As much as I'm pushing Goodfellas for the most part, I totally love Snatch. It's not like I don't love Snatch.
I'm not saying you don't.
So exciting stuff. Real quick, don't put mobster movies in a box. Monty, we love both the movies, but we got to have them go up against each other. Sometimes you got to put them against each other to see who wins in a way. But they both win as far as I'm concerned overall.
It's like I remember being on that road, and the first time we would do that, we called all the boys in the street into my childhood friend Freddie Jones. He used to have like a dog pen in the back of his house, and we would clean out the dog shit. He had 3 Alsatians. We would clean out the dog shit, move the dogs in the house, and we would call all the boys that lived in the road, and we would like all fight each other inside that dog pen, and it smelled like shit. So when they're inside the horse box, and he punches Gorgeous George out in one shot, I'm just like, oh, beautiful.
That's fair. All right.
You can see where Guy Ritchie took his Sherlock Holmes fighting scenes from.
Oh,
like you can see the beginnings right there, right?
100%.
And then you get Golden Brown come in just as Gorgeous George is lying on the floor.
So good. All right, Jarvi, break it down for us.
I think with Goodfellas, it has this epic overarching story, like this rise to success story, and with most like rags to riches mob stories, we get to see the fall at the end. It seems to be very close to Scorsese. It's hard to tell these kind of like rise and fall stories. Like Casino is, I feel like, kind of in the same vein like that, and you can tell he's definitely picked a lot up from Godfather, from Scarface, and even though you can feel the end coming for Goodfellas, you kind of know where the story is going. Even though there's a good twist in there, you kind of know that they're like, whenever they're coming up, you know that there's going to be like a come down for them. That sort of Scorsese always has that moral sort of core to this. Like when you do these things, that's what the actual consequences. And with Snatch's case, it's all about the twist. Like the movie's building up towards the twist. So we got Goodfellas, where you're very much on the journey, and it's about the journey, not so much about the destination. Whereas Snatch, I feel like, is definitely about the destination where you reach. So you kind of have this conversation like with a lot of people have with Lord of the Rings, like, why couldn't they take the fucking eagles? Like, no, you don't get it. It's about the journey. It's about the hard-hitting journey. And I think I'm actually changing my own mind, because initially
I can see
feel
the
like
wheels
Snatch. I thought of Snatch with one of the best twists and turns and sort of a very entertaining movie and journey to watch. But with Goodfellas, I don't think I would watch Goodfellas as many times as I would watch Snatch. But Goodfellas has this, I don't know, whenever you finish the story, you feel tired, but you feel tired in a good way, because you feel like you've been on this epic, long journey. Like the characters, they build up their sort of empire. They end up in jail. They come back. They build it up again. And when it starts to crumble, I mean, Ray Liotta freaking turns and becomes an informant. Like, there's a whole other story right there. So I feel like, yeah, I'm going with Goodfellas, even though I had written down Snatch for me at first.
That's a long journey.
I could see the wheels turning. And as you were saying it, I was like, he's gonna fucking turn. He's going for Goodfellas. I could see it in his
There's
eyes.
the heel turn for Matty. The heel turn's coming. All right, I love it. I do. I love it. So actually, exactly what you say about the twist. I love the fact that you juxtapose Henry Hill's turn from the beginning, where he goes to jail and doesn't rat them out, and then you have everybody all like loving and doving at the same time, and how crazy it becomes when he does have to turn, because he has no other option at that point. It's a great twist in and of itself. It's not as flashy of a twist. But I agree. I like it. All right, moving on then. Better setting.
This one was a weird one, so I can explain this one.
One.
So better setting. This is pretty much what I mean. How is the world building done? How the rules of the mob bosses, how even the sets look like, and how lived in the world feels like for you. So this is where I kind of wanted to, because we usually do, when we do action movies, we do like better visuals or better action set pieces. This is all about the feel, the tone, the atmosphere, and how the world building is done.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right. You want to start then, or because you feel like you're feeling passionate all of a sudden?
Sure, I'll start. I think the Goodfellas world, like its story, it feels very real in every possible way. There's over the top campy stuff, like how Italian everything is, and you sort of laugh at these things that you wouldn't when you saw it back in the 90s. But the world has a very specific set of rules, which I like. And this is a world that gives us a glimpse into how the Italian mob runs. And I think even when the story gets to when Joe Pesci finally gets whacked instead of getting made, like at the very start of the movie, they spend a whole lot of time explaining the rules to us. Whenever someone is made, you can't touch them. They're untouchable. You can do nothing to them. Then we got the amazing scene where Joe Pesci whacks the dude with his friends, and they sort of get rid of him. You think this is done. You've got no idea that this is actually coming back. And at the very end, where you feel like this is his moment now, this is a forgotten thing, Scorsese brings back this rule. There is no way. This is an unbreakable rule that is brought in, which I friggin' love. And I do love the fact that our main characters are like, they're mid-range mobsters. They're not like they're the errand boys. Sure, they start out that way. And they're not the made guys. They're the in-between guys, the sort of mid-level mob guys. So in Snatch's case, we get to see all of the specters pretty much, like the errand dudes, then pretty much like Turkish. He's a mid-level dude as well. He's like, does the deals, but surely has to take a lot of shit from mob bosses, and he isn't the lowest guy either. You can feel that he's worked his way up with the underground boxing matches. And I think my favorite part of all is when we get to see. So what's the correct term to use for Brad Pitt's people? Traveler or gypsy? Gypsies. Is that a good word? Yeah. I'm just checking because I've got no idea.
I mean, they say in the movie, I'm not gonna like have a go at you. You can.
Well,
You can say
they say a lot of words.
yeah,
in
they
Goodfellas as well.
say they say they fucking hate. They say they fucking hate pikeys, like a lot, and it's whatever. A lot of people do.
I completely lost my train of thought with that one. But all right, so I think with this category, as much as I love the real world feel of Goodfellas, I think Snatch has given us a more wide spectrum extravaganza what the British underworld is sort of like. And that is what I really damn enjoy about this movie. I think I've got to go with Snatch.
Jarvi, I knew it was you.
I'm sure I'm going to have a few more thoughts that I lost when I was explaining, but
You broke my heart, Jarvi. You broke my heart, but it's okay.
I know.
Matty, go ahead. Go ahead, Matty.
See, this one, when I said to you guys this was going to be harder than I thought it was, this is the one where I'm kind of like almost still thinking about it because, like, this one is kind of it's the same for both me and Paul. Like, Paul's from New York, I'm from London. Like, I can watch Snatch and I know where those areas are. You know, Bethnal Green down Old Ford Road, the Jolly Gardeners down Black Prince Road. Like, I know where those places are, but I love like the sense of community and everything that Goodfellas like shows because like everyone knows everyone. Like everyone knows everyone's family. Everyone knows, you know, don't mess with these guys. Everyone knows like don't go after made men. Like there's this whole sense of code and like honor amongst thieves and community and everything that I think is really, really cool. And it's just like I'm kind of torn because at the same time it's like no one shows those places in London in movies. No one fucking goes to those like grimy, dirty places. Like it's always the Big Ben, Tower Bridge. This is a tough one.
I will say this was the toughest one for me as well. I'm going to throw that out there. If you're still thinking, I'll throw out some ideas for myself as well. I do think
this category broke me. Now it broke Matty.
It's kind of broken me a little bit too. I'm not going to lie, because exactly what Matty says. I mean, the flashiness of the settings in Snatch deliver because I don't know those places very well, but I do feel like I know them after watching the movie. So that's a definitely bonus point for that. I think why, if I do lean more towards Goodfellas, it's more the setting of just like what Matty said. I feel like I know that community more, and I feel like I feel like we know the rules more, and I feel like it's established more world building. Like Snatch has the flashiness of it, and you kind of get who the major players are. Goodfellas feels more like built. Like it's not a flashy thing. It's just a very solid foundation for a movie because it is so real, and that's why the setting feels lived in. The setting feels earthy, feels real, feels dug in. Whereas Snatch just feels like. And because of that, I think it's because of the energy of it as well. So it's not really the movie's fault, but it feels more ethereal, more kinetic energy. It's more
frantic,
exactly what it is. But it also doesn't feel as because it's too energetic to really feel grounded enough to really feel like a world to me. As far this feels like a comic book version of London.
That's exactly what my point was as well. It feels like Snatch is sort of like this John Wick type of world. Like you get introduced to these over-the-top characters with these really flashy names. They've all got their own thing they can do. Like there's this unexpectedness that I love about Snatch. Like any type of character can show up and they can just wreck shop.
And I think that's also because like you guys aren't from here. Like I see these places. I know these places, and it's just like it's definitely like I wouldn't want to hang out in Bethnal Green at night. Fuck no. And it's like same with Paul. Like Paul probably knows a shitload of places in Brooklyn and New York that he's just like fucking avoid there like the plague.
Yep, absolutely.
I feel like I have to give it to Snatch because it shows a world and places that don't usually get seen, and that's why I think that I'm very much clutching at straws. It is biggest nitpick that I have, but it's like, as much as I love like the world building in Goodfellas, I'm just like, this side of London doesn't get shown often, and it's kind of like fair play for taking a swing at it.
Fair point. Absolutely fair point. I think I do. Even more so, I want to give it to Goodfellas, at least to show, because of everything we said. Like, if anything, I want to give it some loving. That's my turning point at this point. I want to give it some loving because I really am up in the air for both, because they're just both so different. They're both very good at what they do. But I want to give Goodfellas some loving for how deep it was built. So I'm going to give it to Goodfellas, but you can go either way, and you're not wrong. Let's be honest.
Yeah. And I feel like it was going to go that way just because of where we're both from. Like you understand that world more than me. I understand this world more than you. I feel like this was like destined to happen, but I'm glad that we were both like, oh.
Well, we both respect it, and we both can like kind of like dig in and everything else. So I get it.
People can talk about movies on the internet respectfully. It can be done, people.
Holy shit! All right, Jarvi, we're going to end with you. Better fist pump moments is the final category that we have to go for. So what are you going to say?
First off, I'll just explain the better fist pump category. This is pretty much our favorite part of the movie. Like, a fist pump moment is when you're actually like pumping your fist at an awesome moment. I'm not going to say what you want me to say, Matty. I can't. I feel like I'm too much of a copycat when I say it every time, like Ben and Drew do it.
I need it.
But it's this moment in the movie when you're sitting down, you're watching, you're in the cinema with a friend, something happens, you're just, yes, this is so fucking, you look around, it's like, anyone else seeing this? This is the greatest moment. I'm so excited to keep watching this movie. Then you text, like, you got to watch this movie. And remember this time code, like 20 minutes in, that's where this moment happens. So pretty much this category is which of the movies has those stronger, more epic favorite moments. It can be one moment against the other one. It can be many moments that overtake the other one. So there we go.
All right, Jarvi. Then which one hits you?
I'm
feeling it now.
There's many moments in Snatch, and there's only one moment in Goodfellas. I mean, Snatch is pretty much, to me, one of the most quotable films amongst my friends. I know Goodfellas is very quotable as well. But Snatch has those, I mean, everything Brad Pitt does to me. I know, Matty, you're saying he's not doing a great job. As an Estonian, I got no idea what's going on. I love seeing that side of Brad Pitt. So he's pretty much a walking fist pump to me. Everything Vinnie Jones does is a freaking fist pump. The moment, like, when we get introduced to the character, you all know what moment I'm talking about. He's banging some dude's head in with the side of a car. His phone rings, and he just gleefully answers the phone in the worst French you can possibly imagine. Bonjour. Just so happy to answer the phone, see what's up. And just the conversations between Tyrone, Saul, and Vincent. I mean, you can run the jumbo fucking jet in there. The way they box in Benicio del Toro's character. But there is this one scene in Goodfellas, and I know you guys know what I'm talking about. It's the Joe Pesci scene. When he's at the bar, he gets freaking talked up. What was the character's name? You said it before.
Billy Batts?
Billy Batts. Yeah, this maid guy. Joe Pesci goes off the handle. His friends calm him down. There's like this very subtle back and forth. You think he's going to forget it. You know he's not going to forget it. Something has to freaking happen. And you're completely on Joe Pesci's side because you've been with the character. You know what he's all about. And it's also, he's kind of the little dude that you want to root for. I think, like, dramatically and like comedy-wise, it is one of my favorite scenes in movies ever. I'm going with Goodfellas.
Wow. Okay. Scene. All right, man. I get that. Okay.
I fucking love that scene.
All right.
Like Snatch feels like these one-liners. Goodfellas feels like it has one complete scene that just sweeps me.
It's fair enough, man. It's fair enough. Matty, hit us up, man.
You gotta go Snatch, dude.
Jerry wants him to go Snatch.
I do, because I feel like I did Snatch dirty.
Now the bit at the end where really, yeah, fight goes down because much like Bricktop, I don't have time for grasses. That is like a very warming fucking feeling in my heart because like seeing a snitch get what's fucking coming to him. Oh, nothing like it. Again, Joe Pesci having that moment. It's fucking tough to go against it. Really, it's tough to go against Goodfellas. But everyone, that whole fucking movie is saying, fucking hate Pikeys. Pikeys are the fucking worst. You can't trust the Pikey, blah, 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 blah. The fucking bad guy gets it because the Pikey loved his fucking mum. Because you burnt his mum's fucking caravan while she was asleep inside it. So he decided to say, you know what? Fuck you. We're not as fucking dumb as you think. Because we're all part of a fucking, much like
They take on everybody.
The Italian mobsters and the gangsters and that, they're a fucking community too. And they will fucking strike at you if you fucking harm one of their own. And it was just beautiful seeing him come walking out and you see the smile come across Brad Pitt's face. As Alan Fortan goes, give me that fucking shooter.
Yeah.
You see the smile come on Brad Pitt's face because he fucking knows what's about to happen. And just, and then you see that Guy Ritchie twist at the end where it's just like it all plays out. And you're just like, and of all the fucking groups, you wouldn't have expected it to be them because they're all sitting in the van. They're like, oh, fucking hate Pikey. Yeah, we get it. Yeah, fucking hate. Like, they fucking keep repeating it. And it's just like you're really like dragging them into the mud, but then they appear over the hill and just shoot the fuck out of the car, out of the van. Yeah, that is the biggest fucking fist pump for me because it's just like you talked all that shit and it was fucking them that did you in because you were too fucking dumb and too fucking blind, too fucking arrogant to see that it was them that you should have been fucking watching out for. And when you have that moment where like Brad Pitt's like he's like underwater, he's been knocked down, and he just comes up and just fucking one punch just
has that Creed moment.
Yeah. Oh. I wonder if Creed took that from Snatch. I wonder actually.
Maybe.
Every time Brad Pitt knocks out his opponent like with his one punch thing, that is also a freaking fist pump.
Actually, the face after he knocks him down is also just the fist pump. Speaking of faces, I will throw in there. Matty, are you finished? You go Snatched? Are you going Snatch? Okay.
Not going anywhere. You stay until the job's done.
Speaking of faces, the cards didn't buy on you. So what do? Something very silly. You freeze. Your life doesn't flash before you because you're too fucking scared to think. You just freeze and pull a stupid face. But the bike he didn't. Why? Because he had plans of running the car over. Love that scene as well. That's a great fist pump moment for me. Snatch has a ton of fist pump moments. I'm not gonna lie. It's very much a fist pump movie, which I because of the flashy kinetic energy is more built for a fist pump movie. Yeah, because there's a lot of little things like it's almost. When I put this category down, I'm like this. It feels like a setup for Snatch because it is so. It's really a lot of one-liners, a lot of boosts. But then I watched Goodfellas again, and I'm like. What do you mean I'm funny? What do you mean?
Funny how?
Funny how? Am I here to amuse you? How am I? He's a big boy. He knows what he said. How am I so fucking funny?
He winds himself up.
It's the way you tell the story. It's funny.
No, I don't know. You said it. How do I know? You said I'm funny. How the fuck am I funny? What the fuck is so fucking funny about me? Tell me what's funny. Pause.
Imagine being
Get the fuck out of here, Tommy. I almost had him. Oh, so good. It's so good. That's the other Joe Pesci moment. In addition to the Joe Pesci moment he's had. Again, it's a slow burn movie, but I feel like the fist pumps are harder to like I said, Snatch is built for the fist pump. Goodfellas is harder to get that fist pump, but when it gets there, it's really solid. Like, fuck yeah, that's fucking awesome.
This is better fist pumps, not more fist pumps.
And that's exactly the clue I gotta say there is that I think the fist pumps are definitely more of them in Snatch, but when they come in Goodfellas, they really make them work for you. So I have to go with Goodfellas on that. Although it is close, man. I love both these movies. It's such a good fucking We both win. We all three of us win this week because we got to watch both these movies. That's all I gotta say about that.
That's true.
So we have ended. We are at the.
I've
end
got
of
no
the
idea where we're at.
You vamp. I'm going to count this up. Make sure I got it right. So
there were times when I thought, oh, this is going to be a fucking slam dunk for me for Snatch, and then I would get into it.
Now I'm not so sure.
I was like, I started talking myself out of it, and I was like, oh fuck, like. I want to go with Snatch solely on conviction, but I can't because that's not how this show goes. We have to be fair and honest. And I was like, I want to give it to the movie I want, but I can't.
Well, my friends, we have a victor. We have a winner. Winning 8 points to 7 points. It is Goodfellas.
Oh, fuck! That is close.
Wow,
that's so close. Can I pull a POD and throw another category in there?
Too late. Sorry, Sal. Already done.
Better Englishman.
What would that category be, though?
Better Englishman.
Better Englishman. Oh God, what a fucking. Oh, that's amazing to me. That is amazing to me.
8 to 7, huh? Wow.
8 to 7. We had, let's see, yeah, it was 2-1 in the Mob Boss for Snatch. It was 2-1 for Goodfellas in category 2. The cast, it was 2-1 Goodfellas in story, 2-1 setting for Snatch, and then for Better Fist Pumps is 2-1. Goodfellas.
You guys heard it here first. London's better than New York.
I haven't been to London, so I
been
can't
to both
say.
cities. I'm not gonna. They're actually pretty similar.
I can imagine they're really very similar.
Yeah,
they kind of are to me.
I do have to go to London at some point before I die. I'll let you know. I'll let you know when I get there.
Celebration.
That's a good point. Both these films are great, but they are different. So, yeah, absolutely. They're both very different. So
they're both gangster movies, but they're two completely different kind of gangster movies.
100%, my friend.
And done in their sort of in their own cultural juice.
Well, that's going to do it for us this week. I do want to make some PLD projects announcements. Next week, we'll be back on a special day on Monday. Monday, same time, but on a day earlier. I appreciate these guys doing this for me because I have something I can't get out of on Tuesday. Now, what we're doing is a little bit of a mystery. It depends on some things at this point. We're trying to see. We have up in the air, we mentioned before, White House Down versus Olympus Has Fallen. Both are going to be a fun. And it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Shining on over my tato.
The other thing we have is tonight I'm going to see Clerks 3. And Matty's seeing Clerks 3 on Friday. Now, unfortunately, Jarvi doesn't get Clerks 3 for a while. So it kind of depends on when it comes streaming. If the streaming date is going to be, if it's going to come streaming anytime in the next week or two, we'll hold off on it. But if not, we find out by the end of the week, we just don't know when it is. We're probably going to go ahead and do Clerks 3 versus Jay and Silent Bob reboot because it's both later state Kevin Smith movies with all the same characters. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun discussion. PJ Campbell doesn't know it, but if that's the case, I'll probably be asking PJ Campbell to be on. I don't know if he's going to say he will be on, but I'm going to ask him to be on.
He'll say yes. It's an excuse to argue with you and talk about Kevin Smith movies.
Let's agree here. Do Clerks versus reboot next week with PJ. That's fine. Yeah, because it's not going to come out on streaming in a week or 2 weeks. It can't happen. It has to have its theatrical run, and I'm completely fine sitting that one out because I'm not I love Kevin Smith movies, but I'm a very recent fan of Kevin Smith. So I would rather watch you guys go back and forth and enjoy the show, which I'll do after I've seen the movie, of course.
Right, absolutely.
But I feel like I should sit this one out and just let you guys.
All right. Well, then there it is. It's going to be Clerks 3 versus Jay and Silent Bob reboot next week, hopefully, with PJ Campbell. We'll let you know about that soon. Also, in PLD Products, I want to quick throw down a few things. Tomorrow we have, speaking of PJ Campbell, 2 mediocre white dudes on a film, Return with a Vengeance. 2 mediocre white dudes on Halloween H2O 20 years later. Little spoiler, this is PJ's favorite sequel in the franchise. Mine with Halloween 4. This is PJ, so it's going to be a fun take. We have a special bonus episode of Two Mediocre White Dudes on Film this week, coming out on Friday. Two Mediocre White Dudes on Halloween Resurrection, which we recorded yesterday as well. We're trying to catch up so we can make it in time for Halloween Ends. This is one that, well, it's our shortest episode that we've ever done by far, and that's because we recorded these both the same day, so we've got a lot of the banter out on Halloween H2O. Secondly, Halloween Resurrection is, I'm going to be nice and say, not our favorite film in the franchise.
I saw the chat. Yeah, it's
If you love Halloween Resurrection, I do apologize already. If you love to hate Resurrection, this is the show for you. Beyond that, we also have Crown Jewels coming out this week on Thursday. It's new day and time. I figure we already have Class Action on Tuesday. I had nothing on Thursday. Might as well do Class Action, Two Mediocre White Dudes on Film, and then Crown Jewels, where I talk about Queen, my favorite band of all time. We're going track by track, trying to figure out which version of each song is the crown jewel of said version, and we're rating the songs as well, giving you my top 10 of all time as it develops. This week, we are doing the Brian May's first lead vocal on a Queen album, a little acoustic track called Someday, One Day from Queen 2. That's going to be a lot of fun again on Thursday.
I love that song. Just because Uncle Brian got... Yeah,
he got to that his first time, and his voice. Yeah. It's funny. I will throw it out there now. Brian May is probably the most heavy metal of Queen. He's very much so big rocker. He writes all the hardest rock and stuff that Queen has done, but yet his voice actually much better fits the little acoustic folk numbers as he like 39 and like Long Away and things like that. And this is where it starts. So it's a fun episode. I also talk about Roger Taylor's new live release that was just announced coming out at the end of the month. A live album from Roger Taylor's Outsider tour that he did last year, which is good. Something's happening here. That's some sirens going on. Anyway, finally, last thing about PLD Projects, patreon.com/PLD Projects. Join the fun. We're going to have a Patreon hangout on Friday night. I'm going to say probably about, 8 o'clock Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern, somewhere around there. So if you guys want to come hang out with me and whoever else wants to show up, we'll have some talk, have some conversation. We'll maybe play some games. Who knows? We'll see how it goes. Specifically, I need to shout out Patreons Danielle Ramirez, Brandon Buckingham, Brady Parker, Jeff Alterman, John Lestrina, Kelly W. Love you guys all. Couldn't do it without you. And finally, since I'm already going, Paul DiNuzzo on Twitter. You can find me on Action Industries. I might be filling in for Ben and or Drew the next couple of weeks because they're both still having a lot of scheduling issues. So instead of like going again another 3 weeks, they're going to try to have like maybe I might host a show with Drew, then I might host a show with Ben. Cool. I'll just see what happens before they get back in October to full on.
If Drew comes back in one piece.
That's true. Very true. And then finally, Schmodown Spectacular, October 1st. Brad, PJ and I wrote this with questions. It's a lot of fun. It's very much a good send-off. So do watch that as well. Bye, Bador. Bye, Reefism. Jarvi, where can the folks find you?
You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Richard-Erik with a K, Jarvi. And not next week, but usually weekly on Tuesdays on PLD Projects.
And you, Matty.
You guys can find me on Twitter at Matty Gunner, Instagram Matty_Gunner. You can find me here every week with these beautiful gentlemen talking about movies. Sometimes the discourse is as pleasant as it was this week. Sometimes we do get a little bit hostile, but it's all love. It's all, sticking up for the movies that we love. You can find me the ONU MMA show is back every Thursday and Sunday, just not this week because I'm traveling. And also starting tomorrow, if you have a Spotify membership, if you don't get one, it's free. I will be doing a new 5 to 10 track kind of radio show, DJ set of all the songs that inspire me, the music of Mourner. I'm going to have special guests on. And it's basically, it's called a music and talk set. So it's me, I'll play a song, then I'll talk about it, then I'll play another song, and then I'll talk about it. It's essentially a DJ set on Spotify.
Very nice.
That's called Morning Radio, MOU.
Is it live?
No, it's pre-recorded.
Okay. Because I figured, Spotify doesn't let you do live stuff, right?
It does, but I just
can't. It does?
Yeah, I can't be bothered to do it.
All right, cool.
That's
very
next
cool
step.
Indeed.
Go live on Spotify.
All right, my friends. Until next time, then, I am PLD. These are my projects. PLD and the Projects right here. That's our new band name.
That should be a cool show.
Justice has been served. Court is adjourned.
Put it down.